What is going on, guys? It's another day here. Mike and Clayton are both here today.
Saturday.
It's Saturday, yeah. So since the transmission thing didn't go so well, I am starting on wiring harness stuff now. And Mike is actually doing something here with that, what do you call that thing, Mike?
Basically a test harness, a way that you can plug in a GM LS ECU to the wall with this adapter here.
Mike's doing that today, and I am working on the wiring harness. So right now I'm doing the headlights. I decided just to unwrap it, go through the wires, make sure they're all good, retape everything up, and then fit that in. And then I got the harness for the engine right there. So I'm going to start taking that apart, taking all the tape off of that, and start modifying it to be a standalone. So yeah, let's get to it. So basically I am just untaping the wires and then just retaping them up, make them look cleaner, make sure there's no breaks. I found a broken ground wire on this turn signal, so I soldered it back up, and then I'm just carrying on along the whole wiring harness until it looks nice and clean, and then I can put it back in the truck. All right, so I got the harness for the headlights taken care of. So here you can see it goes through here. It's just right there for now. So I'm probably gonna zip tie it maybe to this bracket for the intercooler, unless I can zip tie it to the grill somehow. And then it comes around, comes out there, and then goes up into here where the fuse block is supposed to go. Also, this harness is made extra long so that the wire can go through the fender so that you don't see any of it. It's all hidden when it's in there. And then me and Clayton took the engine wiring harness. We just stripped all the tape off it and all the covering. So that's pretty much what your bare harness looks like once all the stuff is off. Next, I'm gonna start depinning these. So you take these and you remove a bunch of the wires that are in here that you don't need. So that's the next thing to do, is depin it. Once it's depinned, I'll start fitting it to the truck and figuring out where I gotta lengthen the wires or shorten the wires, and because I'm gonna hide the computer under the dash. Everything's gonna be hidden behind the intake. The big mess of wires will be behind the intake, and all you'll really see is like the injector harness and all that stuff where you have to see it. It'll be really clean, I hope. So yeah, so that's the next thing to do.
Wow. Lazy mode.
GoPro, stop recording. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm back out in the garage again. I'm gonna be working on the wiring harness today. As you can see, there it is. All the tape's been stripped off. And what I'm gonna start with today is to start depinning, taking out all the wires that don't need to be used. I actually have the lt1swap.com website open that actually shows all the wires you have to remove. That's your best resource for doing this wiring harness yourself. I mean, I'm gonna show you I'll show you how to do it, but to know exactly which wires, they have everything that you need to know to do the harness yourself, other than tuning it, which of course you need like HP tuners with. But before we do that, I got a package today. I actually already received the transmission rebuild kit, which wasn't even supposed to be here till like next week. Some reason it showed up today. Let me get a razor blade. I'm hoping that it's okay because it looks like it got shipped DHL. It actually went like air freight. That's how it got here so fast. But it looks like they repackaged it for some reason. So I'm hoping there's nothing missing. Unless that was because of customs. It looks like the box was actually opened. Get this out of here. So maybe it was customs that opened it. I don't know. But, like I said, hopefully everything's in place. It's supposed to be in place. Well, so what I see here is the clutches, a whole bunch of clutches and steels, and this is a package of gaskets and seals. So I would assume everything's in there. It's kind of crappy the way they got it all mangled up in here. So I'm gonna have to open it up and make sure that that's okay. I mean, there's gaskets in there that shouldn't be all squished up. So I'll have to open it up. Well, I gotta say I'm a little upset. I don't know who's to blame, if this would be DHL to blame or Amazon.com to blame. I'm definitely gonna be contacting Amazon because the clutches and steels, everything, that's all good. You know, they're steel, whatever, they're good. But take a look at the gaskets. This is the pump gasket, which needs to be nice and flat, and it's basically bent to crap. And even though I don't need these gaskets because I got a new valve body kit, look at them. How am I supposed to use those? Everything else, the seals and all this other stuff inside look pretty good. The big concern is, can I flatten this pump gasket out? Because I need to use it. I'm going to have to sandwich it between a book or something. And hopefully it's going to be savable. But I am definitely going to be contacting Amazon because that's definitely not good.
Goddamn son of a bitch!
Okay, so this is the wiring harness. I took a look at all the, before I start, I took a look at all the gaskets, and the pump gasket's pretty bent up, but I think I can flatten it out and it should be okay. I sent Amazon an email because I'm definitely not happy about it being damaged, but I think everything else is okay, except the only thing I really need is that pump gasket, and I'm hoping it's going to be alright. Anyways, let's get back to the wiring harness. So, lt1swap.com, that's where you want to find all the information. This one page here that I'm looking at, I can move the computer, I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, but it says blocks highlighted like this are wires that are needed, and they go to an external connection. The yellow highlighted ones are ones that can be removed and they're not needed. So this is the blue connector, and so now it's telling you like number 13 not needed, number 45 not needed, number 48 not needed, number 53 not needed. Now, you don't have to remove all these wires. You could just leave them, but it makes the wiring harness way cleaner by getting rid of all these different wires. And then they also say that by removing these wires, you're removing like some stuff that you need to be emissions legal. So if you live in a state or wherever where you have to have emissions based on the engine you have, then you would have to keep this stuff. But in my case, I don't need the stuff, so I can remove it. And a lot of it is stuff that's not emissions. It's just other things that I won't have in this truck, so I don't need. So they say to do one at a time. So this is number one. This is the blue one. And you just have to pop this clip off, this cover off. Just have to get it off without breaking it. Oh, and then that one reconnected. Can't win here. Need to hold this and then pull this off. There we go. So that just comes off like that. Same with this one, obviously. Alright, so then once you got those off, you have to take this back thingy off, which might be a pain if there's dirt in them.
Is that? No, that's not holding them. That's just the bolt.
No, that bolt is.
Yeah.
You just have to squeeze these and get them off. Of course, I like kind of got this off so that it would come off faster, and then when I go to do it on camera, it gets stuck again. Figures, right? There we go. Oh, one more. Okay, so there you go. You got that off. Now you got all your pins in here. And if you look, I don't know if you'll be able to see them. Right along here is numbers. They're all numbered. If you'll be able to see it, the numbers are so small. So they're all numbered right along here. So then, pretty much you just go to your list here, and so it says number 13 is the first one. So then you just find 13. This is not something good to do when you hold and can't see anything.
It's in between 12 and 14.
Yeah, oh, I know, but there's not even a pin in there.
Well,
So that doesn't, I guess, this particular harness doesn't have requested torque signal, whatever that is. So then we'll go to 45, because that just happens to be the next one I see there. Okay, so then you find number 45. And then you got to figure out exactly which one it is. And you just have to pull this little tab back, I think. Oh, there you go. and then it just comes out like that. So once it comes out, that wire is no good anymore. So you want to depin all of the ones that you don't need. Do the blue one first, then do the red one. And then once you depin them all, then these wires can be removed from the harness, and then we move on to the next step.
Your pintle position sensor?
Which is for the EGR, which I'm not using.
Is this supposed to be recording?
No, it's not.
GoPro, turn off.
Is it on still?
He's told,
No,
he told it to shut up.
it's at
Oh,
15
it is
seconds
working,
right now. Like it just started all out of nowhere. This GoPro's silly.
Clayton took it upon himself to depin them. He wanted to be helpful, so that's cool. So once they're all depinned, then now you're just gonna root them out of the harness. Like they're all tangled up in there, so you gotta slowly pull them through, find out where they go, and either cut them off or just take them out of there. So you want to get rid of all. This is all the wires here and here are all the wires that aren't needed. So that's quite a few wires. So that's going to clean it up and thin the harness out good. And that's just, you know, the start to get rid of these first. So now I'm just going to pull these wires out of here, and then we'll move on to the next step after that. All right, so it's the next day now. Like usual, and when everyone was here, we started doing a live stream and stuff, and I still did some stuff, but I just didn't record it. So once you pulled all the wires, which this is where I'm at now, then basically you separate everything, or this is how I'm doing it anyways. You separate everything out. So these ones here are for the coils. This is an oxygen sensor. All of this is for the transmission. Now, if you're putting a Turbo 350 or a Turbo 400 or something, you don't even need all of these either. So you could depin and remove them. But since I'm using a 4L80, I have to keep them. Obviously, the plug is in here, but I have the plug from the 4L80, so I'm going to have to reattach it. But, I mean, as you can see, these wires are all really, really long. Like, this is one of the coil wires. For the coils, like they're super long, so I'm probably going to end up cutting a bunch of them down because I'm mounting my computer inside instead of outside like it is from the factory. The rest of this, all this here, is all various different things. So pretty much once you have the wires all separated and the other ones taken out, you can go through on the lt1swap.com and you can look up, you know, what pin 30 is, what pin 40 is, and it'll tell you what all the pins are for. And then you have to go around and you have to mark them. Like this one's for the fuel pump. This one's for the OBD connector. This one is for fan. There's two wires on here that you can use for electric fans. You can program it in to turn them on and off. And then there's injectors and map sensor and all that kind of stuff. Crank sensor, which I guess when I pulled it out, I cut the plug off, which I have it here. But like I said, if you look at how long these wires are, I'm going to end up shortening them a whole bunch, and then I'll resolder this plug back on. Same with this 102 sensor wire that got cut off. You're going to have this plug still, and there was those two other plugs next to these. Those ones end up getting taken out, and a bunch of the wires go into here, so you just cut them off. And any other wires that are still connected to this can get cut off too. And then what you're left with is these pink wires. Now, all of these pink wires in this cluster right here are for the injectors. So you're going to end up cutting these off and running them to like a relay and a fuse with the aftermarket fuse block you're going to buy. And like this one goes to the O2 sensor. There's another one here that goes, I think, to the other O2 sensor. Yeah, down here. And then there's one that goes to each coil pack. And those are the ones that you're going to have to put through fuses and possibly relays. I haven't really read that far exactly what to do. So then this block ends up getting cut off, and pretty much most of this pile of pink ones can pretty much just get connected together for the injectors, and then they go into a relay and a fuse in that fuse block you're going to buy, which I haven't bought yet. So yeah, so like now pretty much the next thing for this is to mount this in the truck, figure out where the computer is going to go, run this mess of wires, or a little bit at a time, through where I want to run them through, and then cut them and splice them and make them the size I want to connect to all the different things. And then once that's done, loom it up. That's going to be it for this video. So then in the next time we work on it, we're gonna get it in the truck and start shortening up wires and getting the harness cut down and cleaned up really nice. So like usual, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching our videos. It's really cool that you guys like them. And we'll check you later.